In a world where...
Is this thing on?
Barely.
This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by the most amazing patron on the planet, and the random fact that during your lifetime you will produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John podcast, episode 29 for the week of March 12th.
I like rusty spoons. I like to touch them.
Today on the show, Darth Maul is back, cassette tapes are back, Instagram doesn't like Snapchat, and more.
At midnight Saturday, the telephones in this city will be changed to dial service, and all telephone numbers will be changed.
This week, a new Star Wars fan film came out, and it was called Darth Maul Apprentice, and you can find it on the T7 Pro YouTube channel. It comes from director Sean Wu, who also wrote, produced, and edited it. It took him 2 years to make this, and it's beautiful. They did a wonderful job. It is such a good short film. It's about 15 minutes long, but from the time you start it until the time that the credits roll, you're lost in this completely original story with a character, or technically 2 characters that we know, and a bunch of characters that we don't know. It's intense, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It blows my mind that we have gotten to the point where, I don't want to say everyday people, because obviously I couldn't do something like this, but to where people that don't need a huge studio or a ungodly sum of money behind them can still make something that's so good. Wu said that we always felt that Darth Maul should have had more screen time, so we wanted to create a film just for him with the best lightsaber fights we could do, and that this wasn't based on any books, comics, or already written story. And the lightsaber battles were fantastic, man. They did a great job. They'd had awesome choreography, and everybody that was in the fan film was really into the fan film, which is something that doesn't actually happen all the time. Sometimes you'll see the fan films and the people are not, you can tell that they're phoning it in because they're not trying to be serious about their acting because they know it's a fan film. But it was amazing. So if you haven't already seen it, go head on over to the T7 Pro YouTube channel after you finish this episode and take a look, because it's freaking awesome.
Hello, I'm Bill Nye. You may know me from such things as science.
I think I found the singularity. And by singularity, I mean I somehow went back in time. I was scrolling through my Facebook the other day, and they have the ads in between your Facebook posts from your friends and stuff and whatever. And occasionally I'll look at them, because sometimes the sponsored posts do interest me, because Facebook is so good at figuring out what I'm into and what I like, and then targeting me with ads from companies that have something that I would like. So I'm a little more open-minded to those advertisements, because I automatically think, well, yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and like it. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy it, but I can look at it or read the article or whatever it tends to be. So I'm scrolling through, and there's a sponsored ad from Uproxx.com, which I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about Uproxx. I wouldn't qualify them as a satirical site, but sometimes I'm not sure how legit their articles really are. Anyway, so I'm scrolling through and I see this ad, and it says something about, did Robert Downey Jr. just give the biggest spoiler for Captain America Civil War away? And I'm like, man, I should not look at this, because the film's getting really close and I don't want to read anything that might ruin something for me. I'm not a big spoiler fan, but I have even less self-control, especially when it comes to things that I enjoy. So curiosity kills the cat, and I click on it. It brings up an article from June of 2015, or July 2015, or summer 2015. It was right about the time that Age of Ultron came out. And I didn't actually look at the date first. I started reading the article because when you click on an article, who reads the date first? Most people just start reading the article because I wanted to know what this spoiler that Robert Downey Jr. gave was. So I start reading, and it said something along the lines of Robert Downey Jr. basically hinted that Iron Man was going to be in Captain America Civil War. And I thought to myself, seriously, Uproxx? Like, no shit that Iron Man's going to be in Captain America Civil War. Look at the trailers for the movie. Iron Man is clearly in the trailers, and he is clearly going to be in the movie. So I'm like, wait a minute, how old is this article? And so I scroll up and I see how old the article is, and I couldn't help but think to myself, why would Facebook pick a sponsored ad from Uproxx to me, an article that's almost a year old about something that obviously I already know about? I fell in the singularity. That's the only explanation. Of course, there could be a million explanations. Something in the code messed up, their algorithm flubbed or whatever, or they knew I would click on it out of curiosity and they would get a read on an article that's way old and no one's even reading anymore because obviously everybody knows that Iron Man's in Captain America Civil War. I just really felt like I went back in time for just an instant in my digital life.
What year is it?
I remember sitting with my little boombox when I was just a wee little boy and listening to the radio for hours on end with my cassette tape in my boombox so that I could hit record as soon as the song came on, and then I would stop it when the song was over and I'd have my own copy of that song. That's the true essence of a mixtape, right? Well, in an age where iTunes and digital music and CDs and MP3 players and everything, all the different options that you have, some people are resurging their love for cassette tapes. Cassette tapes peaked in the late 1980s, but by the time CDs and digital music got here, they were completely obliterated. The business was just destroyed. In 2005, worldwide sales had fallen from almost 1 billion cassettes to fewer than 1 million, according to the industry. But in 2014, National Audio, which is one of the only cassette tape companies left in the world, produced 10 million copies of tapes. So we went from 1 billion down to less than 1 million, back up to 10 million. It's the hipster generation, man. That's what it is. It's the hipsters. Blame the hipsters for the resurgence in your business. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a special place in my heart for cassette tapes because I grew up with them and they'll always be special to me, but their sound quality wasn't special. I mean, I'm not an audiophile or anything. I don't really freak out about the different qualities of sounds, but if I had to pick between a cassette tape and a CD or digital music, I'm definitely gonna go with the digital music or the CD because the quality of the sound is better. You don't have that weird sound in the background. You don't have any of that feedback. Now, some people could argue the same thing for records, but I think that records have a uniqueness to them, and that's why people like listening to records. I guess you could translate it to the same as why people are listening to the cassette tapes, but it's just weird. I mean, heck, everybody's got their own thing, right? I have a bunch of cassette tapes. I wonder if they're gonna start becoming more like sought after. Like, I have some old tapes at my parents' house, and I just want to grab a box and throw it on eBay and try to make a ton of money off of it, just because the hipsters want to waste their money on buying something that they can go get for $1.99 on iTunes. Whatever, though, if they want to give me their money, that's fine.
You know, when I see a car like this, first thing I do is I say, would you look at this?
Uncle Sam wants you to hack the Pentagon. The U.S. government has just launched its first bug bounty program. A bug bounty program is basically a program that a company, or in this case the government, starts that says, we want people to try to break into our computer system, and if they're successful, they can win money, job opportunities, etc., etc. So basically what the Department of Defense is doing is they're asking hackers to look for vulnerabilities in its network, analyze the security of its public-facing web pages, and attempt to break into its systems. The Bug Bounty program is the first program that the government has ever done, and they're going to model it off of companies. Companies have started doing it a lot in recent years after all of the big hacking scandals that happened, and it's something that you always see in movies. You see this guy that's like super smart, but he doesn't really have the drive to do anything, but he's wicked with computers, and he's always hacking into this stuff, and then the government hears about it, and they go recruit him to save the world or do whatever, and it's Hollywood Recipe 101. But it's happening in real life now, and that's kind of interesting. Not just anyone can hack into the network, though. You have to register, submit to a background check, and then you have to be vetted by researchers, and then you will be given predetermined department systems and a set amount of time to access it. While I understand the background checks and different things like that, that may hesitate a lot of the people that are the most qualified to do this type of thing. So that could cut out some potentially good options there. Granted, they don't want to have people come try to hack the Pentagon and be successful and then take that information and sell it, so they want to that's why they want to register you. I think the predetermined amount of time is a little weird because the enemy, the cyber hackers that are trying to break into the Pentagon that aren't part of this program, that are working for another country or whatever, are not necessarily on a time limit. So if they're giving them a time limit, I'm curious to what the time limit is. The program's launching in April, and it's part of this new cybersecurity initiative that the government's starting. So if you are nasty with computers and you know the interwebs like the back of your hand, then I urge you, if you can pass a background check and you don't have anything better to do with your time, go see if you can hack the Pentagon, because that'd be pretty badass.
Fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Alright, we are about halfway through the show, and as is tradition, I've brought some music for you fine folks. The song that I'm playing today is called Friday Night, and it is by the band Kiss the Thief.
It's a primitive scene, illuminated by the headlights, with packs of black dresses patrolling the streets. Looks like some lad just played his cards right. Would you look over there by the look of his hair? It took him longer than his girlfriend. And it's a Friday night, I can tell by your breath. I'm only just arriving, but I think it's time you left. I made my way down the stairs and saw a silhouette to my left. She jumped out of the darkness and scared me half to death. I've seen her face before, wondering if she's transformed. It's all downhill in the morning, 'cause I'm a victim of my generation. We run them all from heavy conversation. This interaction's got me on the run. We try to keep mistake. Behind blackout blinds, light still finds my eyes, another wasted day. Wish I could live by my own rules, why can't I be truthful and say how I feel? Rolling my blackout blinds, a face on my mind, I hardly know her, but still. Maybe I'm out of touch, suppose I should keep it up. It's all just talk till tomorrow. 'Cause I'm a victim of my generation. We run them all from heavy conversation. These interactions got me on the run. We try to keep on moving, but there's always something. I keep on losing and it's all for nothing. You want it all and then they gave you none.
That song was called Friday Night, and it was by the band Kiss the Thief. And if you enjoy them and you want to find out more about them, I will have links to all of their various social media in the show notes below.
I have an announcement to make to y'all, to the people of America.
Instagram doesn't like Snapchat or Telegram. Instagram decided to block links in users' profiles to private messaging apps Telegram and Snapchat. They made the change quietly. They didn't announce it. They didn't do a press release. They did nothing like that. And of course, you know the reason why. No other companies are affected, so that you can still drop a link in your Instagram profile to a Twitter account, Facebook, personal website, something like that, without running into any issues. They're also not technically blocking all links to Telegram and Snapchat, but they're blocking the quick add links. So we talked a few weeks ago that Snapchat had some new features coming out, and the URL where you just clicked on it and it automatically added them as a contact in Snapchat. That's the URL specifically that they're blocking on Snapchat. Telegram, it's very similar style. So if you try to put one of those into your Instagram profile, it has a message that said links asking someone to add you on another service aren't supported on Instagram. The company was quoted as saying, "We've removed the ability to include add me links on Instagram profile pages. This was a rare use case and not the way our platform was intended to be used. Other types of links are still allowed." Not really sure what they're trying to accomplish with this. I understand that Telegram and Snapchat are both indirect competitors with Instagram. Indirect because Snapchat is different than Instagram. Instagram's permanent, lets you delete them, and Snapchat automatically deletes in a maximum of 24 hours. They're completely different. People put photos on Instagram of things that they want to preserve, that they want everybody to be able to see forever. People put things on Snapchat that are just random or just like quick little here's or there's or what have yous. So it makes me wonder if Instagram is working on adding a Snapchat-like feature, a feature where you can have a photo posted to your Instagram profile for a certain amount of time and it will expire, then a different aspect with the traditional Instagram business model. Snapchat, owned by Facebook, of course, is not the only Facebook-owned company that's been lashing out at some of these other services. Back in November, WhatsApp actually blocked Telegram web addresses within both messages and profiles. But it's not uncommon for Facebook to do something like this. Now, it's uncommon for Facebook itself as the website to do it, but there are companies that they own do these kind of things quite often. Six Flags is going the way of McDonald's. Virtual reality. Six Flags announced the other day that it is planning 9 experiences with virtual reality roller coasters making their debut this month and throughout the rest of the summer. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to have Samsung Gear VR headsets that will strap on to the user and then so you're physically on the ride and you're going, you're shooting left, shooting right, going upside down and things like that, and you're gonna see and feel all of these different things. You'll get the normal adrenaline rush that you get in a roller coaster, but you'll be seeing a 360-degree virtual world, so they can actually put you into the theme of the ride. So what you see in the goggles is going to be reflected into the motions of the roller coaster, or I guess the motions that you feel in the roller coaster are going to be reflected into the 3D movements that you see in the VR. So you're asking yourself right now, John, how do I know if my Six Flags is getting this? Well, never fear, I have a list for you, and you can also Google search and see. 6 of the Six Flags North American parks will get the new Revolution virtual reality roller coasters, which is going to put passengers in a fighter jet racing through a city and taking out alien invaders. 3 others are going to get Superman virtual reality coasters, which will allow you to travel alongside of the Man of Steel as he takes on a gravity gun wielding Lex Luthor. So here's a list of the parks. The new Revolution virtual reality coasters are going to be on Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas, Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia, the new Revolution at Six Flags Magic Mountain, the Ninja at Six Flags St. Louis, the Goliath at La Ronde, I don't know, whatever. Goliath at La Ronde in Montreal. Superman virtual reality coasters include Superman Krypton Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, Superman the Ride at Six Flags New England, and Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags America. I have a confession to make. I hate roller coasters. Deathly afraid of roller coasters. I've ridden on the Batman. I have ridden on the Ninja, and I think that's about it. I do not like them. They freak me out. I know that they're safe for the most part, and I have no explanation for why I'm so scared of them. But to be honest, I think that with this VR thing, I would probably be more likely to ride them. I'd be less scared. I don't know why, and I can't explain it. I'm no psychologist, but when I think about riding a roller coaster, I get this weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. But when I think about riding a roller coaster with a VR headset on, I don't feel that at all. So I'm thinking that this may be the solution for my fear of roller coasters.
Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!
Google has this program that a lot of people don't know about, and it's called Google DeepMind. And what these people do is they research and develop artificial intelligence. They have created a program called AlphaGo, and basically what they wanted it to do was to play against world champions of different mind games. Well, a huge milestone has just been reached for both AlphaGo and artificial intelligence. AlphaGo defeated the legendary Go player Lee Sedol in the first of 5 historic matches that are being held in South Korea. Lee resigned after 3.5 hours, so at the time of this recording, only the first match has been completed, but obviously as you listen to this throughout the week, the rest of the matches will already have been done. Lee is the best at this game, and this game I didn't really even know anything about it, so I did look up a little bit of what it was, and it looks pretty hard. It looks pretty confusing. The game is actually, it's long been considered one of the great challenges faced by artificial intelligence, because computer programs have been able to best the world's leading human players of chess, checkers, and different things like that, but Go requires a much higher level of intuition and evaluation, so it's made it hard for computers to figure out how to play the game. AlphaGo is the most advanced effort yet, using a complex system of deep neural networks and machine learning, according to DeepMind's website. It's already beat the European champion last year, but this champion is in a league of his own. And it's scary, a little bit scary, because think about it. Where do we draw the line between convenience and making artificial intelligence and using it to our benefit and Skynet or iRobot? I know that those are movies and that those things aren't necessarily going to happen, but they raise valid points when we start talking about creating machines that are more powerful than we are in terms of thinking capacity and processing capacity. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of our machines are very, very powerful, but they're not as powerful as the human mind, at least not yet. But we're getting there. I mean, we're getting to the point where computers can beat humans at games that require actual thinking and not just pure math. Computers have always been really good at math and better at math than the average human being because it's measurable. It's something that can be calculated. Whereas strategy and a lot of the things that require actual thought processes apart from formulas are hard to measure. And so it's really, it's interesting. I read an article, this was probably like 2 years ago. No, maybe not that long ago, like a year ago, about how Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates were kind of not necessarily against AI, but they were warning people about AI and what might happen if it gets too powerful and too smart.
The local news of the week.
So, like normal, I'm scrolling through the internet somewhere. I don't remember where I was scrolling through the internet, but anyway, not the point. I was scrolling through the internet and I found something that's pretty interesting. It is a map of the most popular fictional characters from every state. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. Of course, for my home state of Missouri, the most famous fictional character is Tom Sawyer. For my friends over there in California, it's Marty McFly. For my friends down in Florida, it's Ace Ventura. Texas is Beavis and Butthead. Maine is Paul Bunyan. Michigan is Michael Kelso. Kansas, of course, Dorothy. Louisiana's Mabel Simmons. Hawaii is Gilligan. Illinois is Ferris Bueller, of course. Couldn't expect anything less. This is a really cool map. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was interesting to look at, and it was interesting to see how long some of these characters prevail. I mean, think about it. Like, Yogi Bear and Garfield are on this list, and they are old. Dorothy is old from The Wizard of Oz. Like, these fictional characters aren't your new, most of them aren't your new age fictional characters. Now, some of them are from within the last couple decades, but most of them are old. Charlie Brown is on the list. Beetlejuice. I guess Beetlejuice was in the last couple decades. No, not really. What year did Beetlejuice come out? Okay, hold on. We're going to look up and see what year Beetlejuice came out. If you already know and you're screaming at me and you're like, how are you so stupid? I don't know, but I don't know what year Beetlejuice came out. So, 1988. Well, when I was saying the last couple decades, I definitely qualified that as the last couple decades, even though by definition it's not, but whatever. Anyway, so it's just cool. And another funny thing about this map is that it was originally published on Playboy. Playboy, as I talked about a couple episodes ago, is in full swing of trying to completely move over from being a majority nudie magazine and nudie website to actually making something that you would find interesting. And so far they're working. I mean, I found this, I didn't find this through Playboy's website, nor did I find it on an ad like I did the last Playboy article, but either way, I found it. And I mean, I went to their website and I spent time looking at this and talking about it and analyzing it, and I'm talking about it again now on the podcast. So while I was hesitant to believe that they could accomplish what they wanted to do, I'm slowly starting to see that maybe they will be able to do it. If they get interesting, entertaining content and put it on this site, they may not fail like I originally thought they were going to. Oh, so this is interesting. I'm on the Playboy's website right now because I was looking at that map, and a little pop-up just popped up that says, Playboy, click here, spend to win. I could win 2 tickets to the Playboy party, 1-year Playboy subscription, a t-shirt, a 2-year Playboy subscription. Oh, and that's it. So I kind of want to, I'm going to do this. All right, guys, you ready? I'm going to spend to win, and I'm going to see what I have to do after I spin. I've pressed the button. 2 tickets to the Playboy party. Oh, surprise, surprise. I have to put in my email, verify I'm over the age of 21, and read the official rules and privacy policy. Then I can press get those tickets. Or I can log in with Facebook, of course, because they'd like that even more. I think it's really funny that the no thanks message says, no thanks, I don't like to party. It's not that I don't like to party, it's that I don't want to buy the plane tickets, and it doesn't say anything about giving me plane tickets. So that's that. And with that, completely awkward social situation happening, it is probably time to go ahead and get ready to wrap this bad boy up.
Barely.
And now it's time for an app review. The app that I am reviewing this week is called Color Switch. And it's a really interesting game. It doesn't take a long time to play in terms of every round or things like that, but you can spend hours playing this game. So there's like a unlimited version where you just kind of keep going and going and going until you lose, and then there's challenge levels. And what you do is you start out with this little ball, and it's a color. It's either blue, pink, purple, or yellow. And you tap on the screen to make the ball go up. So it's kind of bouncing, and you have to tap to keep making it go higher, but it's not bouncing on anything in particular. And there's different shapes, so like circles or squares that are rotating. And in order to beat the game, you have to get the ball to go through just that specific color. So like a circle will have 4 colors. It'll have all the 4 colors, and each color will be a little section on the circle, and you have to put the ball through the circle when your section is, when the ball can go through the same color. And you do that a few times, and then after each shape you run into this little rainbow looking ball, and it changes the color of your ball. And it's pretty difficult. It seems like a simple concept, but it's actually pretty hard, but it's so much fun. I love just sitting down for a couple minutes and trying to knock out a few levels or losing 12 times on the same level. But it's a lot of fun, so go check it out. Again, it's called Color Switch, and it's available on iPhone and Android.
Hey, if your winter boots ready, winter jackets ready, hats, gloves, scarf, ski pants is ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute. Do it right now!
If you find value in the show and you want to show your support, you can find out how and become a producer at patreon.com/JFMedina2010. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show on the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo or at Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can find the show in its entirety at JustJohnPodcast.com, or you can listen to the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, or some other shit. You can email me at JustJohnPodcast@gmail.com. And remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.